Have you ever noticed that when you go to the doctor, you might tell them the whole story behind how you feel and what you have been doing. And no matter what, they're gonna send you to the lab and get your blood out and get lab results? That is the same principle for plants. Because it doesn't matter if I know already what you have been doing, I still need to check on the plant. I need to check what is inside. And it works the same for the plant and for the soil. Welcome to our 8th video series on fundamentals of fertilization for vegetables. Hi, my name is Emmanuel Torres, and today we're going to talk about foliar and soil analysis for fertilization management. So you have a fertilization plan. You have been following that one. Now, how do you integrate analysis into this? Well, you have several ways to do this. The first step is probably just to go to the field and collect soil samples. Reason why is because the soil already have nutrients in it. It might be a little bit of nutrients or too many of them, but you don't know, right? So you want to try to figure that out so you can provide what is required after what the soil is already providing. So how do you do this? There are already protocols in place for you to follow. And if you want to know more about this, go to our North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Service and follow the steps that they provide for you. But in summary, what you want to try to do is get an idea of what is happening in the depth of soil where the roots are going to be uptaking the nutrients. So for many vegetables, the majority of the roots are going to be within the first 8 inches of soil. And if you think about it, most of our planting beds are about that height. That is on purpose, because the majority, like I said, about 80% of the roots are going to be there. You want to take a picture, if you will, of what is happening in that soil. However, if you only take one sample, that is not going to give you enough information about your whole acre. You need to take multiple samples. We often randomize the way we take the samples. So you will go to your field, make a mental picture of how the acre looks, and collect samples across that field in a way that is going to allow you to understand what is happening across the entire acre. You're going to take that sample, you're going to put it in a bag, label it, date, the location of the lot, and all the information that the lab is going to require for you, and you're going to send it out. About a week and a half later, you're going to get your results. In many cases, you're going to get results for phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, micronutrients, pH, cation exchange capacity, and other parameters. Reason why you often won't see nitrogen is because it's too mobile. It doesn't stay in the soil in one place. So it's really hard to do analysis for that. So we often just assume that there's no nitrogen and we apply the total rate recommended for many crops. For the rest, you're gonna get a recommendation based on research. What happens is that depending on how much phosphorus there is and the forms of phosphorus in the soil, the availability is gonna change. So depending on the type of soil and the crop you're going to use, we already have charts that tell us that based on this concentration with this particular nutrients, others, in this case calcium and potassium, which are reacting with the phosphorus and the pH, your yield is likely going to be X. That recommendation you're going to see coming in your lab report. The second part is you want to know where in the plant you're going to collect these samples. If you imagine your plant from the top going down, you're going to collect samples from the first few leaves and in the middle of the canopy. That is going to give you a good representation of what is happening with the new growth of the plant. The third thing, you need to collect enough leaves. Often 15 tends to be the minimum number, but again, follow the protocols already established by the lab that you're going to be using. The last thing is understanding what the report says. For example, for nitrogen, often when it's optimal, it's going to be between 3 and 4% for many vegetable crops. But that can change depending on your crop, your cultivar. You might see that it's a little low or it's a little high. That is why it's often really hard to have a clear path for the maximum rate you're going to be using for many of your nutrients, because there's so many things happening at the same time that the safest path is just to take your foliar analysis, send it to the lab, figure out what is going on, and then adjust your rate in your whole fertilization program based on that. That is why foliar and soil analysis are so important. On the next video, we're going to talk about the forms of nutrients and how the practices that you use, the environment that you are in, your production system is going to influence the availability of those nutrients. And remember, if you want to know more about foliar analysis and soil analysis, just follow the link in the description of this video.